Hi YouTube, it's Natural G1A here, and I'm here to talk about how I achieve not clipping my ends, part 2. As I've been natural, I'm sorry, I'm scrolling through something to help me talk along so I can stay on point. Also, I hope that my computer isn't too rocky because I am on the bed. I've never recorded on the bed before. Anyway, okay, so how I achieve not clipping my ends. In the first video, I talked about basically figuring out what type of products you wanted to use, what type of things you know that your hair likes, and that sort of thing. Before you even get to clipping your end, like even figuring out what to do and what you would need and how, you kind of have to change your mentality about hair. If you're one of those people that for your hair, you listen to what everyone else says, if you're one of those people that you buy every single product in the book and you're not really trying to know about the actual science of or know about, what's actually good for your hair, then it's going to be kind of hard for you to achieve not clipping your ends. A couple of things I want to talk about today that I put in my blog post is natural hair realities. In order to take care of your hair, you're going to have to know, there are a couple of things basically that you need to know. There are a lot of myths out. There are a lot of old wives' tales, things that are passed down from child to adult, adult to child, grandchild, whatever. And it seems like we just have a whole bunch of hair myths that are in our mind, and a lot of them are flawed. So in my blog post, I actually go over a few of the flaws. And my blog is www.naturalg1a.com if you don't know. First myth, wash your hair. A lot of people still do not know that you need to wash your hair. It may not be the actual washing of your hair. It could be simply your scalp. Either way, you need to remove the dead skin and the excess grease and products from your scalp so your hair can grow. A clogged scalp does not help hair growth. It inhibits hair from growing. It stops it. You have to think about your scalp just like your face. If you are out playing with your dog or you're out, living life for the day, you come home, you wash your face. If you don't wash your face, what happens? You get pimples, you get pores. Your skin on your scalp is the same exact thing. When there are chemicals and oils and dirt clogging your scalp, your hair is not going to grow out of it because it's being resisted. And you want to make sure your scalp is fresh and clean with lots of moisture. A clean scalp also can absorb more nutrients because the nutrients that you're trying to put into your hair are not being blocked by the dirt and the sands and the oil that you already had in your hair for previous weeks. Dirty hair, to a certain extent, helps hair grow. I know a lot of people think that dirty hair helps hair grow. No, what you're probably relating dirty hair to is moisture. Dirty hair feels like it has a lot of moisture because it is a lot of buildup. Your hair being dirty is one thing. Your scalp being dirty, now that's two different things. And some people do make sure that they simply wash their scalp instead of washing all of their hair so they can keep all of the moisture in your hair. However, something needs to get washed. You can't really grow your hair the way you think you're going to with dirty hair, dirty scalp, dead hair, tangled up in your hair. Another thing that some people just, I don't know if they don't get it or we don't want to get it. Oil, raw shea butter, cocoa butter, those are not moisturizers. Wait, pause the video. I know. What are y'all about to say? I know. Listen to me. The only oils that are small enough in molecular complex to even do anything to your hair that you would want to do to your hair is coconut oil and emu oil. The molecules in coconut oil are small enough that they can actually penetrate the hair. And emu oil's molecules are small enough where they mimic sebum, kind of like coconut oil does as well. Olive oil, castor oil, vitamin E oil, sweet almond oil, all of those things in essence are good for your hair in a way because a lot of them are fatty. They're good at sealing moisture. A lot of them emulsifiers. That way when you're mixing your stuff, it mixes and blends well. Yes. However, those things are not moisturizers. Period. Water and things with water base are moisturizers. Oil is not a moisturizer. For example, rub shea butter on your hands. Put your hands underwater. What happens? The shea butter protects the water from penetrating your hand. If you could get rid of the water and scrape the shea butter off your hand, your hair will be completely dry underneath the shea butter. Because shea butter is a protector. The sooner you start realizing that shea butter and oils are protectors and they're not moisturizers, the further you're going to go, because you're going to know, okay, in order to moisturize my hair at the base, like at the main thing to do is with water and water-based products. That is how you moisturize your hair. If you're waking up and you're simply slapping shea butter on your hair and going out the door, your hair is not moisturized. Your hair is actually probably pretty brittle. And if your hair is moisturized, you're probably lying. Yeah, I said it. You're probably lying. Because shea butter and oils, coconut oil, they block those things from getting into your hair. So if you've been using straight shea butter and you're wondering, like, it feels moisturized, I see it, but where is like that moisture? It's not there, because you have to moisturize with water-based products first and then seal with moisture. Now, if you do have a heavily whipped shea butter that contains water, aloe vera, and all that type of stuff, then yeah, you can use that as a moisturizer. Would I use that as a moisturizer? No. The first thing that I would start off with is making sure my hair is wet, and then I would put the whipped shea butter on my hair, if I only wanted to use simply that. But oil, shea butter, coconut butter, they're not moisturizers. If you still don't believe me, try an experiment for yourself. Dip a sheet of paper in some oil. Dip a sheet of paper in some water. Take the sheets of paper both out of the oil, out of the water. Rip both sheets of paper. I guarantee you the piece of paper that in water is going to crumble apart, because the water penetrates the paper, making it weak, breaking it down. Now, the paper that you put in oil, it's going to rip as if it never was dipped into any liquid at all. It's going to make a shredding sound. You know why? Because the oil is not penetrating the paper. It is protecting the paper. And that is how the paper is still staying crisp. You don't believe me? Give it a try. Whatever. Until you start listening to it, you're not going to know. Anyway, treat your ends differently. A lot of people want to know, how can I maintain my ends, and, what can I do? If you're treating your ends the way you're treating the rest of your hair, you're not going to get anywhere. So for me, for example, I'll use myself. After I apply deep conditioner on my hair, I put castor oil on my ends, because castor oil works really, really, really well, as well as coconut oil. I put those things on my end, and then I put my conditioning cap on, and then I sit under the dryer. I like to add extra products to my ends. I like to add different products to my ends. Another thing that I do, when I twist my hair with oil and handmade burnt sugar pomade, when I twist my hair, I use the oil and handmade burnt sugar pomades on the ends, because it is thicker and is a protecting hairdress. If I twist the base of my hair with one thing, when I get to my ends, I'm going to make sure that they're twisted nice and perfectly and secure. The ends that you see here, I'm going to tell y'all something about that too. You need to protect your hair. A lot of people say, oh, I can wear my hair out in any style. I can do this, I can do that. I'm not saying that you cannot wear your hair out. This is my hair out, but my hair is also protected because it's in twists. They're not just standalone strands doing what they want to do. They're all consecutively going in one direction. They're all twisted. They're all parted. It's like you make sure this is a protective hairstyle. When women do French rolls and they tuck their ends in, that's protective. When you do twists and cornrows, that's protecting. Even some twist outs and braid outs are protecting, depending on what product you use to do your hair. Protect your hair. I'm not saying get braids, wear your hair out every day, but make sure the ends is tucked away, because when the ends aren't tucked away, that's how they make single strand knots, and that's how you get weathering. So treat your ends as if they're old people. That's how I like to put it. When people get old, what do? You hold their hand, you give them walkers, they have to take extra nutrients, you have to be careful with them. Your ends are old people. They've been on your head for the longest time ever. So it's like you need to treat them as if they're old. It's that simple. Another thing. Some people assume that you can let your hair do what it does. That's true to a certain extent. In this hairstyle, I can let my hair do what it does. Every piece of my hair is in a twist, and if my twist grows, it'll simply be new growth like locks. I can undo the twist, retwist it, I'm back on the roll. Some people, however, feel like just leaving their hair in a fro or just whatever is gonna help you maintain your ends. If you're letting your hair do what it wants to do, it's a problem because you're not going to maintain length if your ends are curling up into each other, if your hair is, rubbing up against all these scarves and pillows and all the other stuff. It's like, you can't really let your hair do whatever. You can't, if you let your hair really do what it wanted to do, you'd be free locking. You'd have free dreads. I've seen people free dread and they let their hair do what it does. No matter what their hair does, they don't break it apart. They don't touch it. All they do is moisturize it, wash it, and that's it. They do nothing else to it. That's letting your hair do what it does. So until you want to start making progress with your hair, you're going to have to start, doing different things to your hair. You can't just let it do what it wants to do. You need to make sure it's washed, conditioned, and detangled. Detangle. Okay, so you're probably looking like, how are you talking about ends and your ends look fried in this video? I know my ends look fried in this video. Okay, I'm a broke college student, one of the brokest. I actually ran out of my favorite deep conditioners that work the best for my hair. Boo-hoo. So I was stuck using some free sample stuff. I was mixing it with some old products that I had from before, and these are my ends, if you can see them. You see these ends? My ends never look like this. Ever. And the reason my ends look like this, I use commercial products to wash my hair. It depends on your definition of commercial. My definition of commercial is olive oil products. The organic root stimulator. I don't like any of that stuff. I barely try to use it in my hair, but desperate times call for desperate measures, and that's what I had to do. The pH of these products clearly aren't balanced because my ends are frayed. My ends are never frayed after I deep condition. In my third installment of why I do not clip my ends, I'll actually put pictures up showing you guys my ends or whatever. My ends never look like this, but the pH of the products were off. My ends didn't curl up the way that I needed, nor wanted them to. And it's like when you don't get the pH of your conditioner or your shampoo right, it can tear your ends apart. That's why it's so important to get to know the information behind what's happening to your hair versus what makes your hair smell good, what makes your hair look good at the moment. You want to find things that make your hair smell good and look good at the moment, but that will help your hair forever. It's not hindering your hair, but helping your hair. Only if you really care about not clipping your ends. Whew, that's it. Thanks for watching.